I do not care how this is edited at all because I'm trying to sleep, right? I am listening to my phone, okay, but I don't have my headphones in. It starts off with hearing voices coming from this ear over in the other side of the room, right? Voices coming from this ear over in the other side of the room. I keep it looking. What could this be? What could this be? Voices I don't know. Maybe I know, but I don't know. Multiple different freaking fucking. I don't swear you can't. Multiple voices, man. And don't call me crazy. And then in the bathroom, I see what looks like a shadow person, but then I look clearer in, and I almost see a grin coming out the door, like the face, like you could see it. And I'm hearing these voices back and forth. Has this happened to anybody else? Like, I can't do this right now. I gotta end this with Emily Rose stuff. Like, it's just not. Like, I put a great clip in to show you how this all ends. All right, I know y'all like make fun of my mini microphone, whatever. Look, I'm not crazy, man. Just too much research into this, and yeah, I had like an hour or some video prepared. You know what? Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. It is fucking gone because nothing like this has ever happened to me in my life. All right, and I don't want to put myself out here like this, yo. I do not want to put myself out here like this. But if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna tell the truth. Yeah, I had no more research. It's saying them demons' names out loud. That's what I really think this is based on. Saying them demon names out loud. There's sick things going on in this world. Very sick things. What I'm about to show y'all next is very sick. We'll go to that, and then we'll go to the final chapter of the Exorcism Emily Rose. All right? I love y'all. And what you're about to see next is sick, okay? And we'll talk about more about my journey. Pray to God nothing happens tonight, but shows how sick this world is and what demons can really do with this next clip. I love you guys so much. Please subscribe. But this is a sad little minute story. Then we'll go on to the end of the Exorcism of Emily Rose. All right.
Thank you. New at noon, San Jose police have now made 2 additional arrests for the death of a 3-year-old child. The child's uncle, Renee Aaron Hernandez Santos, and her grandfather, Renee Trigueros Hernandez, were taken into custody this week. The child's mother, Claudia Hernandez Santos, was arrested in January. All 3 are charged with child abuse that led to the death of the victim. According to court documents, the little girl was tortured and killed in September by her family as they performed an exorcism ritual.
Initial reports from the coroner's office that implicated the mother, as well as a statement of facts that we collected in evidence in January, were enough to arrest her. The follow-up done by the full coroner's report, which was released just very recently, as of this week, I believe, was what later implicated the 2 individuals that were arrested just 2 days ago.
The killing happened inside a small San Jose church where Trigueros Hernandez was the leader. Investigators are asking anyone with information about this case or similar incidents involving the suspects, contact the police.
Publicly, and many groups, both religious and non-religious, condemned the priest's actions as being medieval. The state's attorney office spent a year gathering evidence on the case, eventually resulting in Father Renz, Father Alt, and Annalise's parents being charged with negligent homicide. The charges against Bishop Stangl and another priest initially involved in the case were dropped. Before the trial began, a nun claimed to have received a message from Annalise, and she stated that her body should be exhumed so that it could be shown it had not decomposed, proving her story. The family wanted the body exhumed, and eventually a permit was granted, as they stated that she was buried in haste and confusion after the initial examination. Her body was exhumed on February 25, 1978, with public officials stating that Annalise's body showed normal corruption, although the family was not allowed to view the body themselves. The trial began on March 30, 1978, with one newspaper stating that this case had generated more attention than any trial since the Nuremberg trials. The impression in the media was that the prosecuted had very little support from the Catholic Church, who likely wanted to sweep the situation under the rug. The court was to decide two things: what exactly caused the death of Annalise Michel, and if her death was preventable. The trial was obviously highly unusual, as the accused were firmly of the belief that Annalise suffered from demonic possession, and they had done everything in their power to save her, while the judge was only interested on whether or not they had violated the law. Dr. Luthi was called to the stand and was asked on whether or not he told the family to consult a Jesuit priest if Annalise was seeing demonic faces. While the family insisted that he had, Dr. Luthi denied it. Similarly, Dr. Roth was called to the stand, but denied that he had ever said anything about Annalise being possessed. A psychiatrist was called in to give expert testimony on the case, specifically if Annalise could have survived had she been given medical treatment. He was also asked to comment on whether or not she suffered from a mental illness. Could the family have recognized the seriousness of her physical state, and if she was ever counseled on any matter that might have caused her death, based on listening to the recorded exorcism sessions. The psychiatrist's overall conclusion was that the medication that suppressed Annalise's seizures led to her developing a psychogenic psychosis that manifested as religious delusions, exacerbated by her epilepsy and the exorcisms themselves, which reinforced her delusional beliefs. In his professional opinion, he believes that Annalise would still be alive had the exorcisms not been performed, and the people involved should have realized her fragile state. He stated that he would have tranquilized her, force-fed her, and treated her with electric shock. The defense attorneys decided that they needed to get their own expert psychiatrist to provide testimony that backs up their defense. It was a struggle to find anyone to agree, but eventually they found two of them, who submitted a 103-page paper dedicated to their analysis of the two priests. The attorney's plan ultimately backfired, as the two psychiatrists agreed with the prosecutor's psychiatrist that Annalise suffered from a psychogenic psychosis, and the two priests operated out of primitive religious views that only made the situation worse. Finally, the defense stated that Annalise specifically refused medical assistance and was putting her life in God's hands, as she believed was her moral and constitutional right. Ultimately, though, the court convicted the four of them with negligent homicide, although the parents were given no punishment, as the loss of a daughter was punishment enough, and the two priests were given a hefty fine and 3 years of probation. I'll leave it up to you to decide for yourself on whether or not Annalise suffered from mental illness or demonic possession, but either way, it's a highly tragic story.